carries. Next item is public comments. This time and place for any comments for any item other than those that are in a public hearing. Please come to the podium, state your name. Hearing none, seeing none. Moving on to item 5, consent agenda. Take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
DeVore,
Yes.
Vogel, yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, new business. Under new business, action item number 1. Consider a motion to approve resolution 2019-07 approving plat of survey record lot tie agreement, parcel 2018-160, parcel D, lot agreement for parts of lots 14 and 15 owned by Ruth E. Stewart, and 2 petition and waiver for sidewalks. Gary.
Thank you, Mayor. This is really ends up being a record of lot tie and lot agreement, which, for lack of another terminology, considered another lot tie that corrects some nonconformities that existed at the Stewart property on Broadway. This brings everything into conformance. They're adding no new structures, nothing new here. It's just bringing these 2 lots into conformance and putting a dividing line that keeps all of the buildings that are there within the setbacks that are prescribed by the zoning ordinance. It also then has 2 sidewalk petition and waivers, which are like all of our petition and waivers for sidewalk. At such time as the council sees that there's a necessity for these sidewalks, they can order them to be placed by the petition and waiver. And basically, that is all of this in a nutshell. Do you have anything to add, Gary?
No, that's it.
Okay, and you guys you're happy with this?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry it took so long, and it was a lot more complicated than what anybody knew, so.
Figured out, but
Okay. Thank you for being here.
And thank you for being patient.
Yes.
So I do have a question. I don't want to get in the way of getting any of this through. I think it's pretty straightforward. They want to split things up. So the question was brought up at P&Z, and I don't remember the ultimate answer. It just ties into the sidewalk. And again, I don't want to require anything that wasn't required beforehand. I don't think this changes anything. I know the sidewalk waiver is on, but the end of this property leads up to basically the end of town, which is roughly, right? And the old highway that doesn't completely, but almost connects to the trail from Broadway. So that old road, whatever it is private property? Is that?
It's most likely county property, because at one time this was state property. It was a state highway. And there was a transfer of all property from the DOT, Polk City for 5 minutes, and then went on to Polk County. Chances are it's owned by Polk County.
Okay. I do wonder, again, aside from all of this, is there an opportunity to have another trail connection there? I know it goes most of the way, again, separate from this, get this through it and move it along. But we've got sidewalks up to this property, right? So,
I will say,
yeah.
okay, up into my property, you guys, they've done all this development. There is a connection right in that first build, closest up to that Exxon paved Exxon bike trail.
Yep.
So that is like their one that probably all the public go to. People probably are not going down this driveway to get on. I mean, it's sort of.
I realize that. I live right there too. And I'm not saying that there should be another connection, but just as part of our planning.
Looks like the property, that whole road is split between the 1220 Broadway and the Corps of Engineers land. Doesn't look like there's a separate parcel limit.
Okay. And I don't know that it adds any value other than what that existing trail does in Lost Lakes.
And I know that that road doesn't go all the way to the trail, it goes pretty close to the back. But again, I put that on the radar of something, because again, we can, again, completely separate from this split, we have the right to require sidewalk on this property, correct?
Yes.
If there's a legit reason, and I'm not saying that there is, I just want to understand where that road fit in, if that's private property, and get it out of my head, or what, so you answer that. I'll make a motion to,
Jeff? No, okay. Okay.
make a motion to approve resolution 2019-07.
Second. Before,
Go ahead.
that, when we're arguing about Highway Road, it used to go where the spill, it went across where the spillway is now. It went straight across and came out down there by the lake. They moved that road when they put the new road on the other side of the spillway. And that's what changed all that. I can't tell you who owns it or where it went or what happened. It was just there. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, history. Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
DeVore,
Yes.
Vogel, Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2, consider motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2019-200, amending water rates. Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel, yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Motion
DeVore.
carries.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Gosh, sorry. I forgot about that.
No.
Sorry, Dave.
Don't count.
Sorry, Dave.
Don't worry.
That was a good one.
Someday
not
you're
to
gonna
vote
get
on.
over here.
Item 3, ordinance 2019-300, amending chapter 65. I said stop or yield required. Item A, consider a motion to approve the second reading. Take a motion on that. So it should have been second reading of that. So I'll take a motion on that.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel, yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
DeVore.
Yes.
Motion carries. And to be clear, this is just adding the stoplight, and hence the reason we brought the next item forward. This is an option. Consider motion to go ahead and waive third reading and adopt ordinance 2019-300. Nothing else is changing other than just adding of the stoplight provisions, right? Yes. If anybody's interested, I'll take a motion or discussion on it.
Move to waive third reading of ordinance and adopt 2019-300.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
DeVore,
Yes.
Vogel, yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes. Motion carries. Item 4, consider motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2019-400, amending chapter 3 municipal fractions. This is from Trace, right?
Yep.
Okay. Take a motion.
so moved.
Second.
Questions for Chief? Roll call, please.
DeVore,
Yes.
Vogel, Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes. Motion carries. Item 5, consider motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2019-500, amending chapter 41, public health and safety. And this was from Chief, right?
Yep.
Okay. Take a motion or questions for him?
Can add that we're making some very good inroads with moving towards the controlled hunting. I've been doing a lot of research, and Urbandale PD was very helpful. They have a very robust, probably the best program that I've seen, and we're moving forward with. I'm going to start attending the task force meetings for the county conservation, and have a very solid plan in place for next season.
Ron said he'd like to start going to those meetings again.
I appreciate the work you've done on this.
No,
It's needed, been needed for a long time, so I appreciate you done that.
It'll help. It'll make people safer, I believe, through a reduced deer population on our roadways. We cover a lot of car deer accidents. Haven't had any injuries this year, luckily, from it. And it'll also should help people that are having nuisance deers in their yards. Not gonna get rid of all of them. It's not a magic cure, but they make a significant reduction in the cities that they started these programs with. And it also, we won't have people out there that aren't. Right now, the way our ordinance is, there is no way to hold them accountable for their skill level or their tactics and they're using. And so that will all be structured in a place. So it'll be, it's something else that we'll administer out of the police department. So,
Seems important for some skill level tech if you're going to shoot.
yeah.
Crazy. Take a motion on this, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
DeVore,
Yes.
Motion carries. Yep. Item 7, reports and particulars. I'm going to first call on staff. I'll ask Chief Kindig. You had a report in the packet, just kind of your year-end review. Any highlights, comments, anything you want to put on record?
First and foremost, just the staff. Everybody works very, very hard. I've never worked with a group of law enforcement professionals where every single person pulls their weight plus more. And you always usually have somebody who are goading along or waiting to get more out of them. And I mean, everybody from Jane working part-time at the front desk, Lieutenant Sipker, and all the officers, this year they've really stepped up. We had our year-end association Christmas party yesterday at Louisiana Bank. Let us use their community room, and it was just really awesome to sit there and see what's the difference over the last couple of years, and how much more effective that's made us as a department for the city. The K-9 program was kind of the highlight of last year. There's a pretty good write-up in that. But Lieutenant Sipker really worked hard at moving forward the community relations and rolled out some really cool programs with doing the neighborhood movie nights and really integrating us into a lot of the social events we're going on the square in different locations in town. And I believe that's huge for us. A lot of people see that. I think it's kind of an ancillary, kind of fluffy, feel-good thing, but that truly builds that trust and that relationship with our community, where it makes us a partner with them in law enforcement and keeping them safe, and not just, oh, there's a cop. You know, it really is. It's in the school too. It's neat to see you can walk through the school now and kids run up and high five you. But where a few years ago, everybody's kind of like, what's a cop doing here in the school? So it's no specific highlights other than just the K-9 program and Lieutenant Sipker. But there's a lot of small victories throughout the years. I'm excited to move into this next year and continue to build on those.
I want to thank you because it starts at the top.
Yeah, I gotta give the credit to. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you, but that's again, like I said, I've worked in a lot of police departments, and to have 100% of the people doing more than what's expected of them makes my job pretty easy, to be honest.
I appreciated your report. I think having to take that is very, very well. Chief, other than whoever is in charge of your artwork and PR stuff, you and I should have a chat.
I just had some,
That's fantastic. I appreciate your contribution there.
I was handed a handful of pictures, and I just randomly grabbed
Thanks for
a
that.
few just
I'll
to
leave
share
that
some
alone.
history.
Budget deduction next time.
I couldn't find certain other pictures.
That's probably they may have left at one point when somebody else left. We'll leave that right there. Thank you for that was cute.
Well, I just wanted to point out that historically we've recruited some really good people. However, they come and go.
There was exceptions to that.
They come and go.
Yeah, they do.
You can't keep everyone forever. But no, I did provide. I have to disclaim this is kind of a weak year-end report. It's tough to report on a year that you worked here, so I apologize. It'll be better next year, but I did find it interesting. The call volume history is obviously increased. The data on day shift calls versus night shift I thought was interesting. Weekday versus weekend. So those are the times that my gut's wrenched, and I'm not sure who's around or who's coming. But I just wanted to share briefly. We'll get into some training hours and topics and apparatus conditions next year. It'll be a more thorough report. Like I said, it's difficult to report on a year that you weren't here.
Well, another well done report, and thank you. I know you haven't been here since September, I think, but well done. I think this is good information and good historical data to have.
Thank you. And if I add a couple other things.
Please.
Just, we had our badge pinning ceremony since the last time the council met, and I kind of wanted to acknowledge those people. We had 5 individuals that were pinned. They come off probation. Nathan Rising, Josh Maminos, Matt Miner, and Jeremy Rosenau, and Zach Dunham. So that I want to recognize those individuals. Followed by that, as you well know, is an awards banquet that night, the same night as the badge pinning,
And I want to recognize the recipients. Responder of the Year was Matt Gradette, which if you see him, thank him. He does a lot for our fire department. He's also our training officer. And he also received Officer of the Year award, voted on by his peers and subordinates. Matt does a really good job. Matt puts in a lot of hours. We throw a stipend at our officers, but trust me, if you put that stipend into dollars per hour, he's probably making about 17 cents an hour. He may be paying us, I don't know. Anyway, Matt does a good job, and so I appreciate Matt a lot. Recruit of the Year went to Zach Dunham. Zach Dunham's a part-time employee that works for us. He's a full-time Des Moines firefighter. He lives just across the line in Ankeny. He comes running anytime we have a bad call, even if he's not on duty. And again, not voted on by me, by his peers. We got Recruit of the Year. Firefighter of the Year went to Rusty Fredrickson. I asked everyone that voted to have comments, and there was lots of good comments about his efforts above and beyond what's expected. Medic of the Year went to Dottie Van Zee. Dottie Van Zee is also a part-timer that has chose to be a paid-on-call person as well. She doesn't live in Polk City, but she has nights where she stays at the station, works for $1 an hour, covering calls because she loves being here. She used to live here, and circumstances made her move away. And now she lives over on the east side of Polk County, and she not only works every third day here, but she covers about every third night on call. So again, her peers voted for Medic of the Year, and then who am I missing? Sorry,
Kid,
Officer of the Year,
Medic of the
Medic of the Year, Firefighter of the Year.
and Recruit of the Year, right? That's all of them, I'm sorry. And then Responder was, again, Matt Gradette. Matt was Officer of the Year. So I want to acknowledge those individuals. They put in a lot of effort. Like I said, we're not truly volunteer anymore. It's paid on call. They do receive a wage when they work shifts, and they get a stipend at night, but it's not much.
No.
I appreciate their efforts.
As we do.
As we do. And thank you to all of them, and make sure that you pass that along at your next meeting, that we all appreciate their work. I will note, and just because I remember tracking some of the same stuff back in the day, but the call volume by month and how, if there's any question about Polk City being a recreation town,
Resort.
how that just continually rises and then drops right back off, goes right back. So very interesting numbers, and appreciate you guys putting that stuff together. Anybody have anything for either one of the chiefs? Then I'll call to you guys.
I'd just like to say, and I think these meetings are healthy. I appreciate to be able to have our input, talk about things. Our city's grown, we know that. It's grown a lot. Although you guys haven't grown in numbers, your services have grown immensely. The professionalism, the way things are handled, even though we don't have the numbers that you feel we need, your equipment has been upgraded. Both of you, I just think it's a very positive for the citizens.
Great job. Appreciate those reports. Really do. It really helps to.
I like the detail.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to necessarily give detail, but I really, seeing that there was 31 grand of marijuana being taken, just, and that's just a cross section of what goes through here. I mean, we have no idea based on the recreation. I mean, we see it, we live here, we see people, all great people, I'm sure, but they're coming through our town doing not with the best intentions at times. So I think it's important.
But we do like our visitors, so
I'm
watch it, please.
I'm not saying you can't come into town.
Okay.
Want
to be clear.
Proactive law enforcement doesn't discourage your visitors you want here. Criminal element's small, even in the metro size of Des Moines, and they talk a lot. They have one place that they all hang out called Polk County Jail, And what I like to hear is the reputation for Grove City is it's not a place to go, you know, apply your criminal trade or anything like that. So there's been times where Anking's been hit thrash of car burglaries in Johnston, and you know we're not getting it. And I really, you know, it's pretty subjective. I'd really like to think that that's because of our reputation of being proactive. I do have a couple other things, but
Yep, go for it. Nope, you're in.
There just
Go.
kind of some legislative things that have come across my desk. With the fireworks, they had a meeting on the 24th, so I don't want to be a dead horse. Everybody knows
You had to go there.
Ban the ban legislation?
Yeah, well, the big push was by Chapman to take away control of the cities.
Yep.
I know we're all on that.
But that was just on, right?
20. Yes.
So.
No, this is where they can
No.
sell.
Yeah.
You want to take our control of where we can, by zoning, we can't control
Yeah, there's
Right,
placements.
so there's that, but then there's also, say, basically invalidating
ban this.
a municipal
Can't ban
ban,
Yeah,
but only on the 4th. So
yeah,
does it open things up
right.
where, or
The main thing with them was from what I got out of the synopsis I read was the selling of the fireworks, where and how the retail, can't remember the exact wording, but the retail organization was there, and Chapman they want to not have to regulate the time. They want a shorter timeline for the fire marshal to approve the facility selling. And what happened last year is they would trickle in 1 or 2 a day, and then they said they had 800 on the last day. Well, they can't inspect all of those and approve them. So the bill would basically, they can't inspect you by the deadline, you're given a free pass to go ahead and open up. That was separate from being controlled by zoning. So that's how I understood the synopsis I got sent to me from our chief's group.
Then the
on
zoning
it.
as well is, he wants to do away
Yeah,
with the
we're-
zoning. So you can sell it wherever you want to sell it.
Correct, and the city does no
The city
control.
can't say a thing about it.
Amy, how's that make you feel?
Does
Yeah,
anybody else see the irony in this? When it first started, we wait for the county or the state to take over?
That's so true.
And then the other thing I had was on the.
I mean, can I stop you?
Oh, sure.
Does that seem like that's got traction anywhere that you're seeing? I mean,
Yeah, there
for
was
Republican support. I mean, it's, you know,
It sounded like it had a lot of support. There was one I didn't write down her name. It was a female legislator that she opposed it, but just because of the language, but not of the content of how so it was written, and not the
so
actual.
this
thrust
was
of it.
passed as a revenue boon and they're not seeing that because of
Yep.
the
Yeah,
yep.
I know talking to the fire marshal, they did not make money last year at all.
yeah.
All the access was gonna go for grants to fire departments, there
Oh,
was
yeah.
no money, zero.
I thought they sold it, that's what was going to happen. Okay. Thanks for keeping us up to date on that, obviously.
The other thing, and I won't get too far in the weeds on this, the massage parlor ordinances that you guys were given to look at, that's all still being tabled out down to a hearing that they had. It was supposed to be in the House. It was, again, to take away city control. Like, I couldn't go in as a municipal police officer and inspect someone's license to be a massage therapist or to run a massage therapist business. That can only be regulated by the state. And that was from the State Massage Therapists Association. Their lobbyist helped Brad Zahn draft the bill for it. So, and it would make, you could punish the person giving the illegal massage with a serious misdemeanor, which is okay. But a lot of cases, the Department of Homeland Security person gave us that's about 85% of those people are trafficked workers. They're victims themselves. So that's only giving us the ability to arrest or re-victimize a victim. We, like the licensing control, Johnston has been very successful with it, being able to shut them down administratively so they don't have it going on in their city. Because to try to, and the other side of the aisle says, go in and do your vice operation. Well, then you're sending in an officer in a morally compromised situation. You're re-victimizing a victim that's already being forced to perform illegal acts. And, you know, our stance as chiefs and what we went down with legislation is we want that local control and to be able to tailor it for our city to make sure we can head these off the pass administratively through making sure there's proper licensing. And then we asked at the end, and the DPS is working on this as well, the state, having language in in that bill or another bill saying that it's okay to have the ability to punish the person performing the massage, but to give us teeth to go after the person that's facilitating it, the person that registers the city, the person that is heading up that organization, which there's no way to go after them right now. I mean, there's criminal code for different things like that, but that gets back into the weeds of that investigation. It's very, very hard to make. So that's kind of where we're at. It got tabled. And then, Senator, Zach Nunn, he came over and was talking to us after that caucus. So I think what's going to happen, I don't mean to speak for our legislators, but it sounded like it was going to be tabled. They wanted to make sure the correct language is in there. They were on the side. Everything was very positive to what a bunch of us chiefs went down there and spoke about. And so I believe what we'll see, optimistic about, is 2 concurrent bills with the exact same language going through the House and the Senate that will give us the ability to go in and control that entity through, make sure they have the proper licensing, and everybody working there does.
So I actually have the massage therapy on my list to ask about. Does that push up the need? And I'm not telling you what to do. The one of the 2 model ordinances that I sent you guys that came through the MAC to get in before any new legislation, or do we know which one of those we want to go with?
No, I would suggest this is just bit like a hybrid kind of between the 2. I think that the real, I don't want to name cities, real bare bones one really doesn't give us hardly any more control than what the state would have. And there's some of them that can be, I think, might be too cumbersome for Oak City at this point. And so I would have a draft, but I would say wait. I mean, they've tabled it. Wait and see what they come out. Because I think it's going to be favorable for us from what I heard down there.
Okay, I just didn't want to miss an opportunity to get something on the books
Yeah.
if that
And
mattered.
I thought that they were going to override any
I was wondering if that
part
was
of
going to be the case.
one of the bills that I saw provided for overriding, taking away city control.
And that's the one that we went to speak about. They were going to vote on it.
So I think that you just hold off at this point.
Because there has been a couple communities that did pass the ordinance, right?
Yes.
Oh, they've been
a lot. Most of them have,
yeah.
and that bigger government doesn't take kindly to the smaller government telling it what it did wrong. You're
Right.
dealing with the
Yeah.
fireworks, so there's no reason to jump in front of it if it didn't give us a better opportunity to.
Yeah, I don't think it will make a difference. I mean, I don't.
Because they're going to tell us what
If
we're
they'll
going to do.
tell us what to do, I mean, you'll just end up having to change your ordinance depending
Again.
upon what they pass.
I would have a draft ready to submit once that goes through, and if we retain our ability to enact our own ordinance and have that for you guys to review. And
I just see
vote on.
that as a
And
preemptive.
obviously AB too. Sorry to be the, and I'm just taking what's been effective for other communities by discussions with other chiefs and with other elected officials of other cities to be able to pull something together that would be tailored the best to fit our needs here in the city. But it's kind of a wait and see thing right now. The state dropped a bomb that they had been drafting. A bomb to me. I wasn't maybe all the way in the loop, but they had some legislation that they were bringing forward too. The DPS lobbyist was there kind of at the end of the hearing. So it'll be interesting to see if they have multiple bills going through regulating different parts of the process, or if they get together and have one set of legislation that comes down on it.
Anything else from you?
No.
Jamie, anything? No. Mike, I see your head bobbing. Are you tired or something?
Just the obvious, right?
All good in your world? Just sitting back with your feet up?
Right. Yeah, every other day or every third day is getting a little annoying, but it is what it is, right? So I'm keeping up with it. Our ships are out there. So right now the equipment's holding up. So
Can I ask, how's the park situation going?
actually, it's really well right now. I mean, yeah. So
It's improved significantly since last year.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was a busy morning for me after that first snow. I had a lot of emails and phone calls.
I'm sure it was. Ron, I know you're.
I've heard some rumblings about snow removal. My suggestion was for them to go drive through tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because Diane and I went to town last week, and Merle Hay Road right in front of the mall was just awful.
Yeah.
Come back here, and Diana, who usually only picks on me, said, gee, our city does a good job, so hats off to you guys.
Yep, absolutely.
You guys have been doing a great job. Living on a cul-de-sac, which I know you guys love, but it's been great seeing you drive legally on the road with a skid loader out there too. I keep my eyes on you like Ron. I just like that. No, I appreciate the work.
And that wing plow was pretty cool. I saw that in action. You just got that was.
I saw that as
We approved that.
Yeah, that's been.
I know, but I hadn't seen it before. Seen it out and
This is our
about.
third year. See, last year there wasn't a whole bunch of snow, so it wasn't out a lot. But this is actually our third year, maybe 2.5. But yeah. No, the wing plows will be going on every piece of equipment.
That's probably why I never noticed that there just wasn't enough to have it out a lot. But yeah,
stay in that one, then we'll get rid of it.
Yes, oh,
Says Trey's got a second turn.
yeah, no, you gotta give you a second turn, go for it.
Encourage residents to scoop around the
Yes.
fire hydrants,
Good point.
please. It saves us a ton of time. Our Facebook post, if you haven't seen it,
Yeah,
go to Polk City Fire Department's Facebook page.
great point.
Saves us a lot of time. We can put fire out instead of scooping out of hydrants.
Especially after Mike's guys come in and plow them in at the end of the cul-de-sac.
We're gonna meet after this.
Okay. Sorry. I'll start down here. You got any?
I do have a few things. It's been a while since I've been here, so I got a lot of pent-up stuff. No, I do apologize for missing the meeting last week. Appreciate the P&Z going through with the new development that got kicked back. And execution maybe wasn't ideal on that, but the sentiment I think was, and appreciate the review that they did. Also want to acknowledge the guys on the pinning ceremony. And we did have a MAC meeting earlier this month, so on top of all the other stuff that they're messing with, TIF and backfill are both going to be addressed is the indication that they gave. More confident on the backfill, which is less impactful to us than TIF may be, but changes coming there. Who knows what they'll end up being. Did also have on last Tuesday neighborhood citizens group meeting, and appreciate the feedback there. Which leads me into the final thing. So I didn't want to talk about water because the resolution was a no-brainer, but like I mentioned in the budget meeting, it is something that at a macro level to work on, trying to get that communication out better, which is not fault anybody. It's a convoluted, messy story to tell, but if there is a takeaway that I've got is to maybe be a little bit more proactive and thorough with explaining some of the reasons and why they changed and where we're changing them, and some comparison. And again, I don't want to use comparison as a justification to do anything, but in talking with those folks, it's easy to be frustrated when things go up, and it mitigates that to a certain degree when we can explain some of the wrong. So, again, I think I'm partially responsible for something that we want to look at when we're maybe a little less.
Appreciate that what you said, and it just, you hit people in their pockets, it gets their attention, so I think I pretty much said it all.
Dave? Anything for you?
Yeah.
I'll start down here and I'll work my way
All
up.
right, thanks. To that point, I think also we can communicate a lot, but also those that you have any questions, concerns, comments, please come to the meetings, and we're happy. We're not hard on people when they come up here and ask questions, but a lot of times, as Gary explained, the facts aren't always the facts based on what they know. Not even myself certainly can ask questions, but please come to the meetings, and even if it's one or two people that come with a list of questions, I mean, we're not hiding behind anything. It's all there's justification behind it, and we're not doing it just to raise rates. I think that's very important. There was something else. I think I forgot about it. It was,
We'll come back to you if you have anything else.
Yeah,
These guys are taking plenty of your time. I'll run over our building. Anything from you? Jeff? Okay. So
I can go second. If I will take responsibility for this seat and pick up any papers, whether I should or shouldn't.
Ron?
I just wanted to agree with what Dave said. I would love to see these seats filled every meeting.
yeah, it makes it a lot easier, I think, to look somebody in the eyes and just justify rather than Facebook or just seeing, just rumblings. I think it just come out because pretty easy group to get along with.
So I'll add to that, and I do think that, I do appreciate the time that staff did put into putting together some reports and sharing those with the various people who had contacted City Hall directly. And I would encourage that as well. If you've got questions to, reach out to us or reach out to City Hall directly, staff here, and those who did, and, all of you. I know you guys took extra time out of your day to put together some additional stuff. That information, if people haven't read it, it's very informative and does paint a good picture. So, anyway, I also would like to thank you guys particularly for allowing me to be gone last week on a personal level and not bothering, not that you bother me, but it meant a lot that I didn't have to worry about things. So, and I'm calling a workshop for February 11th. I don't know what everybody's availability is. We're going to call it for 5. Is anybody available to do it earlier? And you mentioned, of course, I'm picking on you, but I don't know you guys' work schedule. Ron, I'm worried.
I'll have to check my calendar.
I looked down here before I looked over at you. But does 4:30? I mean, I could split in the middle. I guess Mandy, Dave, or Rob.
An hour and a half. I think it's up to us though to make sure we come.
Yeah.
And let's.
Yeah, we have to finish it up.
This ahead of
Yeah,
time
we have to,
and
yep.
not just
Yep.
kind of nitpick it one or
And if
two
you got,
things.
yep. And if you got questions ahead of it,
I think that's.
these guys call.
Because it could go on for 6
All right,
hours.
we're gonna 4:30. You'll set that. Anybody have anything else? Ron, I'd call on you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4:30 or 4:30. I'm still on island time. 6:38.
Trace, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Did you listen to what I did?
My gosh, it's everywhere. Yeah.
You guys, and then I